Hi everybody, I'm Ross Gowing and I'm Chief Game Designer on Dirt Rally 2.0.
Hi everybody, my name is Jon Armstrong and I am the rally consultant on Dirt Rally 2.0.
Hey guys, Gowing from Cerealkillerz. We had the Dirt Rally 2 events, and yeah, let's start with you, Ross. Could you talk about your experience behind the studio? Like, how long have you been working for the studio, or let's say, how long have you been working on rally games, like from the very beginning?
I've been working on rally games since 2010 when I worked on Dirt 3. Since then, I've worked on the first Dirt Rally on the PC version, and now, Chief Designer on Dirt Rally 2. We've been in development for about 18 months. We've been trying to bring together everything we've learned from previous two games, and then listening to what it is our community want to see, and also working a lot with professional drivers such as Jon Armstrong and Ryan Champion to really make sure that we represent rally in the most authentic way possible.
So let's go into detail with that. How's the feedback like from a rally driver, or how do you implement it into the game? This is from a technical standpoint.
So Jon and Ryan will sit with our lead car handling designer and our their lead physics programmer, and then it's really a collaborative effort between them, discussing how the car behaves on a variety of wheels, motion platforms, controllers, and saying that if they're not sure that something is completely representative of real life, then the handling designer and the physics programmer can change things on the fly for them using our tool set, and make sure that the car aligns with how the drivers believe it behaves in real life.
Yeah. In terms of the improvements to Dirt, to the last title, what could you improve, or why couldn't you implement the new features in the older game?
So since the first rally, the physics programmer and the handling designer have really gone back through everything they've worked on previously and everything they've learned, and made sure that they've basically stripped it down, put it back together again, and checked over everything in minute detail. We're very lucky to work with so many professional drivers and mechanics who are very generous with their time and expertise. So we're constantly learning and are constantly able to roll that knowledge into to what we're working on. In terms of the community getting a chance to play the cars as well, we have community VIP members who've had certain key builds throughout the year to make sure that things align with their expectation as well. A lot of them have experience in real life rallying, and so it's always good to have the opinions of more drivers and make sure that we're on the right track.
So what was the main points that you got back from the community, like the biggest changes you had to make from feedback from the community?
So the way that rear-wheel drive cars behave was something that the community spoke a lot about, and we've been able to respond to. So making sure that the cars are controlled through the corners on the throttle much more than they are with the wheel. It's kind of the way that they break traction and the way the driver needs to balance the car with his right foot. That was one of the real step forwards we've made this time around.
Okay. Is it hard to balance the game, like when you play tested it, like with a professional driver, with a casual driver or something?
So we try and provide a spread of competition in the game to suit drivers of differing ability levels. Obviously, you do have the kind of the top 5% guys, which is the real world drivers, and so for them, the AI competitors, they can dial those all the way up to 100, and that's kind of real life times. And then for players who are perhaps picking up this is their first rally game, they're able to scale those AI times back so that they've always got somebody to compete against. The handling of the car doesn't change based on the difficulty you select. There's a number of assists that you can switch on. Perhaps you feel need help with not locking up the brakes, something like that. You can adjust the level of ABS in the game to accommodate that. Because I think I stand no chance of setting times that he's setting. So yeah, we've made sure there's a spread there for players.
Okay. Do you got any tips for newcomers or people that want to get into rally games? Or?
Well, I think it's quite a daunting thing to get involved in. You know, if you're not a hardcore sim racing player, it's difficult to get started. But what sort of advice that me and Ross both give is to start off with something that you're capable of driving and something that's not going to try and, you know, spin you off into the trees at every chance it gets. So don't start off with like a Group B car. You know, you start off with front wheel drive, ideally car like an R2 car, some of the historic front wheel drive cars that we have in game, like the Mini Cooper, or for R2 cars, the Ford Fiesta R2, and you know they're great little cars. They're front wheel drive, so you're basically pointing them into the corner, and there's no real danger of the car over rotating. So it's more about getting as much out of the car as you can, and once you master that, then you should work your way up to a four-wheel drive car, something like the NR4 class, and then into, you know, the more dangerous cars and the ones that are harder to tame, like the Group Bs and the rear-wheel drive cars that we have in game. So yeah, that's the main tip, and what Ross touched upon as well with the assists that we have available. If you're struggling to get to grips with the game, you know, you can put on traction control or ABS to help you from spinning and locking up the tires and brakes.
Mm-hmm. So how do you prepare for a real life track before we go into the race? Do you got any tips for that, like preparation before the track, or?
Well, you know, in real life, you obviously prepare for the event, do as much research as you can beforehand on the characteristics of the rally and the roads that you're going to face. So yeah, it does no harm to do a bit of research in that and know what you're going to face. We offer a similar thing in game where you can see the statistics on the track that you're going to do, what the weather is going to be like, what type of gravel you're going to face, what percentage is medium gravel, heavy gravel, and stuff like that, which is really helpful. But yeah, it's really just preparation and making sure that you're listening to the pace notes and are comfortable with the system that you're using and that they suit the stages. And then yeah, it's just a matter of being as smooth as you can and start off slow and then build up your pace once you know how you stack against the competitors.
Mm-hmm. Do you got any favorite cars and tracks in the game, like what you usually pick?
Yeah, I've said this quite a lot. I really prefer my Fiesta R5 that's in the game, so I've driven it in real life, and it's really cool to see a car that I've driven in real life in a game. So it's the virtual counterpart of what I've driven for real, and it's really nice to compare that to my experiences that I've had in real life, and you know, see how authentic that is, and it does everything that I expect it to do. And yeah, probably favorite track, I would choose USA or Poland. They're my favorite locations. There's a nice variation of road. You've got a little bit of bits with really fast with jumps, and then you've got more technical bits with junctions. So it's a really nice location to get your teeth sunk into it.
Okay. Could you give us any details on post-game content? What you're planning for the game, or?
So we have plans for the first 6 months after launch. Players who purchase the deluxe edition will have season 1 and season 2 included in that. That will include 3 locations and 5 vehicles. There's some fan favourites in there. There's some new vehicles, and we have concrete plans for those 6 months. We then need to see what the reception to those is really, whether what we are giving to players is what they want, and then we'll see what our plans should be for future.
Yep. Maybe let's get a step back in the history of DiRT. Why did you change like to hardcore rally or the more realistic approach? Was there a reason, or?
So there was a lot of fan demand for it. I think there's a very dedicated fan base out there who want to really challenge themselves, and perhaps Dirt 3, they felt that it didn't provide enough of a hardcore challenge, and that was the inspiration behind the first Dirt Rally. Certainly, it was how can we give those players what they want and really test themselves against the elements and try and get as close to the real life motorsport as possible. Obviously, the Dirt Rally 1 was a great success for us, and people, the reception to it was great. And so we've released Dirt 4 in the meantime, but our fan base have been very vocal about the fact that they want Dirt Rally 2.0, and you know, we're happy to provide that.
Are there still some fun casual parts in the game, or is it just plain?
It's we don't have a joyride mode or anything like that. It's dedicated to serious driving. To be honest, we have a number of different ways you can experience it. So we have our My Team mode, where you'll be given a starter rally car and starter rallycross car. It's up to you to then hire engineers to expand your team and research kind of engine tuning within each of those vehicles, rise up through the ranks of the ladder. We have online custom multiplayer where you can set up a championship for you and 7 other players, or a championship of any length to play on your own. We have a time trial mode. We have historic championships, which is where the game is portioned up into kind of era-specific chapters. So you play 60s historic rally, then 70s and 80s, 90s, the present day. And then we also have the FIA World Rallycross Championship mode, where players are able to jump straight into any car from the 2018 season and play through the first 8 rounds of that championship.
Yeah. Do you got any plans on local co-op modes or VR support?
So I know a lot of our players have been asking us about VR and our plans for that. I don't have anything to announce at this time, but we have very much taken notice of all of the feedback and comments they've sent us. So yes, we've heard the voices calling for it.
Okay. Maybe as final question, what would you say from both of you is your favorite part about the new Dirt game? Like any feature you could name?
Oh, any feature, that is a tough one. I mean, I think that the track degradation makes such a noticeable difference when you're driving. It's you can run the same stage twice, but in different weather conditions and with different rutting that's formed on the surface. And I think it really does make you listen to your co-driver so much more carefully, making sure that you're staying online and not getting pushed out wide into the loose stuff. So that's my favourite feature. And John?
Yeah, similar to Ross, I guess it's more towards the strategy-based features that we've brought in, so tyre choice and being able to manage your tyres, choose what compound you're going to use, and yeah, it's just an added bonus, you know, being able to choose a selected tyre compound. Say you choose a hard tyre, but you get a little bit wrong and the weather turns for the worst, or you've missed that the second stage on a loop is going to be wet and you haven't prepared for that. It can catch you out, so it keeps you on your toes. It makes it a little bit more like the real thing, and yeah, it's a nice touch to have in the game. Probably the other thing is we've added a lot of really nice cars to the game, and it's just nice to have a good selection through all the ages of different specs of cars, and obviously the new RGT class is really cool as well.
Okay, thanks for the interview. It was great.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.